right, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh Juice, an indie game podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy Fresh, and joined, as always, it is...
Matty Juice. What is up, everybody? I'm glad to be back here on the other side of a year. You know, we flipped the coin here, Tommy. We're finally made it to the tail side. We all knew we were on the head side first, and now we're doing tails, you know?
Yes, sir, and I can't even begin to tell you how much I want to make a joke, but I'm a little slow off the gun. It's been a long weekend, my friend, but we got a great episode for you all. We are reviewing Halls of Torment. This game has gotten a lot of praise, so we're going to tell you if we agree with this praise or if maybe we think it's a little bit of a stinker. Who knows? Stick around and find out. It's going to be a good time. But before we do that, we got to catch up. What's up? How you doing, buddy? What's new?
I'm doing good. We saw each other on Saturday. It was a good time, a good fun time, even with the rain. And then Sunday actually went to the New York Yankees game, the final game of the regular season, with some buddies. Shout out to Bags. Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Cam's father-in-law. And it was a good time. There was like an hour and a half rain delay, which kind of sucked. And obviously the traffic going there sucked, as it usually does. But still, I still like going to baseball games. There's just something about it, that Moneyball music playing. And it was good. And it was actually a good game, too. We didn't stay. We left like in the seventh inning. It was tied 4-4. Yankees ended up winning, which is cool. Not that the game mattered. One thing I will say, though, and like this is just because, there's nothing wrong with this, like inherently wrong. But some of the people sitting around us were just like going nuts whenever like something would happen, yelling, drop it, or like the ball would get hit in the air and like you think it maybe was going out. It was on like the warning track and people just like screaming. I just wanted to be like, they already clinched. They got home field advantage. Like, this game doesn't matter. Like, I get it. But, like, even the players were probably just like, I don't really care, if this goes out or not. But I don't know. Just that was one part. I was just like, man, people were, like, taking this pretty seriously. But, hey, they got every right to, I guess. It's just someone who hasn't been to a baseball game in years. I just kind of forgot. That's how intense it can be. But, yeah, it was a good time, Had some beers, had some food, some grub, and now, just a busy week ahead of me, So work stuff going on. I got Once Human stuff going on. Going to see The Price is Right this upcoming weekend, which should be fun. Maybe you'll see me on an episode. Probably not, but
this episode of this podcast.
Yeah, this is the one. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to tell Drew Carey. I'm going to say, hey, have you heard of Fresh Juice? He'll be like, oh, my God, you're Matty Juice? Like, yeah, Drew, what's going on, man? How you doing? I miss you on Who's Line. So that's been everything going on. What about you, Tommy? How's everything going?
Everything's good. Everything's good. What did I do this weekend? I worked on Saturday with you. You helped out. That was very awesome. I also had to run out and hit the bridal shower, make an appearance for whatever reason. I'm still confused about it, but that's okay. And that was cool. We got like so many gifts, so many nice gifts from people. That was really cool. Best gift of all, we got, Grammy Juice's potato salad recipe from Mama Juice. How about that? That was a big surprise. I'm like,
it'll be posted in the Fresh Juice Discord.
I did post the title of it in the Fresh Juice Discord, but I'm not sharing the secret sauce. Don't worry. It is the best potato salad. But other than that, I was so beat after working on Saturday, and like there was like a ton of leftovers and stuff like that from the bridal shower. And I was like, I do not want leftovers. I want like a freshly cooked meal. I'm beat. It was wet. So we went to this place called Bowman's Tavern. And they have this roast pork sandwich that is so insanely good. It's got like
Yeah.
broccoli rabe, long hots, provolone melted all over. It's got the au jus. You dip it in there. Oh, it was so good. I just slammed it like nobody's business. It was delicious.
How's the bread? Bread good?
Oh, bread's great. Bread is good, my friend. And then we woke up early the next day to go do a 5K race, or I went to go do the 5K race. Lady Fresh did the 2K walk. And and yeah, look at me, I can run. It was for good cause, for childhood cancer, anti-childhood cancer, I should say. Not pro, but it was a good time. Got to see some friends. And I am still in pain from the race. I ran the whole thing. I actually had a time that was better than my worst time in high school. I will say that. So I still got something going on.
Yeah,
it's not great, but I did run the whole time, I was proud of myself. But I feel like it's a 5K, right? 5 kilometers. I feel like the metric system gets longer and longer every year as I get older. Like this easy. Got to be 6K this time.
Yeah.
But it was a good time ish. And then work. Today, the day we're recording is the end of the quarter, which is always really busy for me. I've been working a lot today and working a lot this week too. So just working it, you know what I'm saying? But hey, listen, we got to get to some freaking video games, dude.
Yeah, we do.
We got to get to some news. Not a lot of news this week, but the same news as always is, hey, listen, we got a Discord, the Fresh Juice Discord, the Juice Heads. It's where all the coolest people in the world hang out. And we are jamming in there. Check it out in the show notes. But also, it's a pretty dry week in terms of indie game news, but Balatro was released on mobile. And, I imagine it might be a recommendation from one of us at the end, but have you played? What are your thoughts? What's going on?
Yeah, no, I played on the Google Play Store, got an Android. So for those of you who were trying to get it the second it came out, there were some issues with the Google Play Store. So I had to wait a few hours and just live through the screenshots that Tommy posted in the Fresh Juice Discord. But yeah, I've been playing any chance I really get, where I'm just like, I got to kill a little bit of time. It's great. Really enjoy the new kind of, touch control sort of mechanics that they included in it. I do agree. We were chatting about this over the weekend, but when you go to sell a Joker, I do agree. I see it now when I'm playing where the sell, you're basically dragging things to sell rather than like what you would do on PC where you would like click buttons to do certain things. So dragging to sell, I definitely can see how you could accidentally sell Jokers. But other than that, it's been great. Won my first, got through my first run, which was nice. Doing straights actually too, which usually, on the PC, I was just like, to get my first run, I remember just like flushes, flushes are like the easiest thing. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to try. Let's just see what kind of Jokers I get. And then I got the Joker that you can make straights with just 4 cards. And I was like, oh man, like at that point I was like unstoppable. So that was a good one. But yeah, it's been a great time. Excited to see that kind of vertical mode they potentially have coming out, or they do have coming out at some point. And yeah, it's just, if you haven't played Balatro, it's a great time to get in, especially since the mobile version is cheaper than the PC version or the other versions. It's only $10. I think the PC is like 12 or 15, right? Something like that. So it's a good time to get in if you haven't played. I know our buddy Bags, I let him know that it was for sale on mobile, and hopefully he's going to pick it up. He said he was interested in doing so. So yeah,
Bags
killing it. But big news, though. Not a lot of indie news, but that's some pretty big news, I'd say, in the indie space.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is actually, funny enough, I'm looking right now. There is an update. The sell spot is moved, at least on Apple.
Cool.
And then they fix a lot of the card bugs, which, whatever. It ran perfectly. right? And it was actually so smooth. I was so used to the Switch. It runs better on the phone than it did the Switch, which, whatever. Switch is old, man. But it's so sick. I'm trying to see if I can see how many hours I have.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I probably would say maybe I have like 4 or 5 hours. I haven't gone crazy with it, but in the bathroom, eating breakfast, driving. No, not driving, but just anytime I get to kill some time before bed, it's been perfect. Like I just love it. I will say though, they got to update the app icon on Android because it like shows the circle. It's like a white circle, and then it has the app icon a little bit smaller in the circle. And I'm just like, it just looks like this could be so much cooler. I mean, give me a little Joker, as the icon or something like that. But it's great. I can't recommend it enough. And spoilers, it might be my rec room.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that you recommended it. Although, I think the Juice heads are pretty locked into what we're into and what's good. But yeah, I played a lot. I've beaten every deck except the last one because I need to unlock it still already. So I'm jamming it, and I'm like it. I thought like I'm not gonna want to play Balatro all over again. Like I put 350 plus hours into it when I first came out, and now I am doing the same thing. Except it's more convenient, which is arguably worse for me. But hey, listen, here's a question I want to pose to you.
Tell me.
Is there a real shot that this is game of the year? Compared to what else we've seen?
I do think it has a shot. I did see Local Thunk tweeted out something about like trying to get nominated for one of the game award categories. I think it's going to win best indie game, like for sure. I think it's going to get nominated for game of the year. And I do think it has a shot, and I think it has a shot because it's so it's not really for a specific type of player base. Like anyone can really learn Balatro if they know poker and if they're just willing to have a little bit of an open mind when it comes to like the mechanics. So I could see like my dad getting into it, like if he really sat down and like took like an hour to try to learn it. But so I think it has a shot for game of the year. I'm trying to think of what else would be nominated for game of the year. Obviously you're going to go up against some AAA games.
I'm trying to think of what even the big ones were this year.
I don't know if Tears of the Kingdom is going to be on there. It might be just because it's Zelda. Was
that this year?
I think it was this year. Let me see.
Last year. I thought it was pre-Fresh Juice.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm an idiot. May 12th, 2023. Listen, the year has gone by, people. Okay, the year has gone by very quickly.
In the words of Steely Dan, are you reeling in the years?
I'm reeling them in. Let me see here. I'm looking at a list because that's a great question. To be honest, of what could be up for game of the year. Helldivers 2.
Oh, sure.
Kind of fell off a bit, but
I guess the Warhammer game as well.
Yeah, Warhammer could be up there. Let me see here. A lot of games that I just don't think are going to be nominated for really much of anything. Pretty interesting stuff here. Yeah, not seeing too much, to be honest. Another Crab's Treasure? No, that's not going to be up for game of the year. Definitely up for best indie game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe the game we're playing today.
Maybe, yeah. It's going to be a good conversation. I'm excited.
Yeah, it is. So I'd be interested to see if Balatro at least gets the nod for like game of the year. I mean, it's kind of crossing across all kinds of platforms, and I don't really understand game awards, the game awards, and like how these. Is it votes? Is it player votes? I'm not really sure, but like I thought the year that Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, in my opinion, it should have been locked, right? That really shaped a gaming moment. That year came out of COVID. Everyone was playing like nonstop. It was memes. It was everything. Like, people were buying Switches to play Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And then it didn't win. I forget what won that year. But so I'm not really sure, because by the same metrics that I thought Animal Crossing New Horizons should have won, I'm a kind of applying to Balatro in a way.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's just me.
And also just just trying to look up some potential nominees. This is actually controversial, but the Elden Ring DLC came out this year, and DLCs have won before. I know, like Destiny 2 DLCs have won awards before, and that's been a big controversy of whether a DLC should be able to win. I personally don't think it should, even with Shadow of the Erdtree for Elden Ring being $40 and basically being a whole game, in itself. It's still not a new game, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it should be, but in the past, those things have been nominated. So we'll have to see. But obviously, Animal Well too popped up.
Sure.
So that could potentially be one. But yeah, I guess Balatro stands a good chance now that we've combed through some of the list.
I mean, like Xbox's main account just tweets out the word Balatro every once in a while. Like, it's pretty nuts. And like these high profile like people in the world, not even just tech world, are like saying, I'm really obsessed with this Balatro game. Like directors of TV shows and stuff like that. It's pretty wild. So I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be awesome. I just want to see Local Thunk up on the stage. I just want to see what that dude's all about,
Yeah, same. Yep.
Be crazy.
He's just gonna say Balatro, and then that's it. That's the speech.
Oh yeah, it's pronounced Balatro.
Yeah.
That would be sick. And then we're like, I think that guy's local to me, and that would be the magical thing about him.
Yeah,
he is local to everybody.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a thunk. Whatever that means. So now, speaking of potential game of the years, I think we should get right into it. Gameplay of Halls of Torment, which is developed and published by Chasing Carrots. It is $4.99 on Steam, and a mobile release is coming soon. I think in October, which when you listen to this, it will be October. I don't know what point I think in mid-October. So the blurb is: slay hordes of terrifying monsters in this horde survival roguelike. Descend into the halls of torment, where the lords of the underworld await you. Treasures, magical trinkets, and a growing cast of heroes will grant you the power to vanquish these horrors from beyond. How long can you survive? Now, let's get into the gameplay. This is...
I'm going to share the gameplay here for a second. It's going to make a noise, and I'll pause it.
And
there
it's
we go.
Gone.
Go to
it. This is, if we're going to simplify it right away, it's a Survivors, like Vampire Survivors-esque. However, it's not even a little bit deeper. It's a lot bit deeper. You have inventory management. You have these RPG elements of finding, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right now. You can get items and equip it. You have a cast of heroes that kind of hang around this base spot, roguelike-y kind of thing, where there's shops and other things and ways that you can kind of enhance your character with this progression. And then you go in, you play different levels, and they have different degrees of difficulty, and they also have different degrees of aesthetic changes, and they all have quests. There's generic quests that you can get on any level, and then there's quests that are specific to certain levels, right? And when you beat a quest, you unlock a certain kind of item that you can find in the game, or you just get more gold, or you get a certain kind of power up that you can find in the game. So basically you're getting rewarded to kind of like really complete these quests as you go through. Now, how is it like Vampire Survivors? Well, you're kind of moving around in this top-down kind of world, isometric kind of thing. where you can go auto shoot and auto aim if you want, right? Each hero or each character has a different kind of weapon base. You start off with a sword guy, and then there's a ranger, and then there's a whole bunch of other things that you'll find. I've only unlocked 3 characters so far. I've unlocked I forget what the name is. I think swordsman, ranger maybe, or bowman or something like that, and then the cleric so far. So those are the 3 I've unlocked, and they all have different kinds of weapon sets and basically what they do. Now, I played initially without doing auto shoot or auto aim, and then after I played a couple runs, I did auto shoot. Did not do auto aim. I kind of like being able to aim and kind of plan out what I'm doing. I found that this game, the gameplay wise, rewards you so much more for actually being a little bit more strategic than other Survivors likes, or even Vampire Survivors itself, right? There are these power-ups you get, kind of fill up the bar. You're collecting these blue crystals or whatever. You level up. You can do power-ups. And each hero or character, I'm so used to calling things heroes because I play Flesh and Blood, but each character has different... You can get the same power-ups for every character, but each character plays better with certain power-ups. And that will sometimes be denoted by like a little arrow pointing up next to it, right? It will tell you this is good for your character. Like the swordsman really cared about like tanking up and doing like health regeneration, parrying, defense, all these different things. And you can kind of plan out your kind of build via there. And then there's these other classic Vampire Survivors like power-ups where maybe you can see the lightning one. It all is auto shoot, basically. Lightning, you can get like saws that fly around, shoot needles at enemies. You can get these little ninja star things. It's pretty cool, right? You get to choose that, and then you can also upgrade those as well. So that's basically it, right? You go through this. You have a certain amount of time you have to do to get to the final boss of each level. I think it's you start at like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's 30. And
you go through, you hit different mini bosses throughout the run. There's different things you can pick up. There's different kind of goals of each level. And yeah, once you get to the end, you get to face like whatever the final boss is of that level. And if you can beat it, it's really cool. And if like they all have different ones, it's just really, really cool. I love the hell out of this game, the gameplay. And yeah, I got to get your because I've been rambling.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's honestly like this game is just awesome. Everything that you mentioned, it's what I love about the game, especially the fact that they give you the opportunity or the option to auto aim or auto shoot and just kind of let you play how you want to play. This is where the game really starts to set itself apart from like the other Survivors likes. And people, if you look at the reviews for this game on Steam, people bring up Diablo a lot, right? Because it's like an old school Diablo meets like a Survivors like, and that is awesome. Like we've had other Survivors likes, like Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, where there's like quests and things to do, and they kind of build on that formula. Even playing, Spell Brigade as well, which is great. They also kind of have different quests and things for you to do. But I really like that you have the ability to auto aim or not auto aim, and you can really control what you're kind of doing more in this game. And then also just everything about like the combat feels really good. We'll talk about the sound and everything. I got some comments on the sound when it comes to the combat, and obviously like the art as well. But as far as like how powerful your character feels, I never really felt like I was being totally overrun. But there are a lot of moments of just like intensity where you're like, okay, I need to try to get out of this situation or hopefully level up enough, because when you level up, you kind of push back the enemies a little bit. There's kind of this like pulse that happens around you that pushes the enemies back. So I think they do a good job balancing that. And then also, the quests are just really cool. So it's not, there are certain things that are like similar to some other survivors likes where, okay, you have to stay in this ring and you have to kill a bunch of enemies in this ring until like the counter goes down. And then you get like a reward out of it. That's cool. That's in like other survivors likes. But then there's also like, I really enjoyed, there's like these books you can find, and these books aren't really pointed out to you, at least from what I noticed, as like an indicator. Some of these like kind of points of interest have like an indicator, like you can see in the bottom right and the top right on the screen. There's little indicators for like where you can go and pick up stuff. These books that you can find, which I've only found a few of them, basically they have some dialogue that plays, and it's almost like a riddle where you need to try to figure out, okay, what is this thing trying to tell me to do? And one of them that I found, I know I mentioned to you over the weekend, but one of them mentioned a blood trail that you had to follow. And in order to find like two pieces of something, it's actually, I think the person playing on the screen right now has one of the pieces, is that purple one in the top left. It's kind of like this bright purple. So you literally have to follow like this blood trail on the ground. And when you get to the end of it, there's like kind of this like ritual of like pile of bones, and you have to kind of do something. I don't want to spoil it too much, but you have to do something in order to get that piece. And then you have to figure out where the other piece is. And that's where I was like, okay, well, it just said follow the blood trail. I followed it. I only got one piece, but it mentioned there were two pieces in that riddle. So what I did was I went the reverse way through the blood trail and went like, opposite of where I originally found the book. And there was the other piece there with another little puzzle. And I was just like, that's so cool, because it's using, it's kind of getting into the art a bit, but it's using the environment to like, to lead you to the next kind of quest item, rather than just having like an indicator on the screen. So I really like that. I think I want more of that with this game. Like we mentioned, it's a $5 game, right? So like, there's not a ton, at least from what I've experienced, there's not like a ton of different variety with the types of quests. But I would love to see more of that sort of stuff in the game. And then one other really cool thing is that, and you actually see it on the screen in the top, like left-ish, top center left, there's a well. I don't know if you mentioned the well already.
No, not yet.
The well is a really cool idea where, Tommy mentioned there's kind of this starting area where you choose a character and like you can, upgrade your character, things like that, choose your level that you want to go into. But there's also a character that you find in one of the levels that you rescue, and he becomes a vendor that is in that kind of starting lobby area. And what he does is there's a well on the map where you can find an item that is kind of a permanent item that you can bring into the levels, and you can send it up the well. And when you send it up the well, it goes up to that lobby area, and then you can go to that vendor. I forget his name exactly, the Wellerman. I'll just call him.
So.
I don't know. And you can buy that item, and then you can just equip it for every run. So like one of the items that I found was like, it was like a ring that did like plus 50% like crit damage. So every time I'm doing a run, regardless of the character I'm on, I can equip that ring. You also get some items that you start out with too, which is cool, right? So I think the pants one of the pairs of pants you can get like increases your pickup radius, which is like a huge bonus to when you're playing. You can really level up pretty quickly because of that bigger pickup radius. So it's just got these really cool ideas in it that I've never really seen in other survivors likes. And I've just been loving playing it. Like almost everything about the game really surprises me, and I just still can't believe like the price of the game delivers this quality of gameplay. And it's just been great. So I don't. It's weird because I also don't want to spoil too much with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I've gone through every level, but like there's just so many cool moments of like, oh, like look at this enemy, or like I figured out how to do this quest, or like look at this item I found, like I didn't even know there was a cleric until you just mentioned it, right? Like, because we were trying to figure out when we were talking a little bit over the weekend, we try not to talk about the games too much when we see each other, but we just couldn't help it with this one. where I had the swordsman's the first one, and then you get the bowman or the ranger, and then the next one for me was an exterminator. He was a guy with a flamethrower, and I was telling Tommy, I was like, this guy is like really good. You got to try him out. And then you mentioned cleric, and I was like, okay, so I guess the characters don't unlock in the same order for everybody.
No. So I guess it all depends on what you are doing, to be honest. So I looked, the exterminator is a specific quest in the second level, and the cleric is a specific quest in the first level. So that was something, because I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I looked at the quest. I was like, oh, that's how I unlocked it. And it could be a quest that you can't see yet or something like that. But yeah, so you can unlock multiple different characters in different kinds of ways, I guess. So it's very exciting. It's so cool to kind of go through. And I always throw out this stupid word, but it's very video gamey, right? It just feels nostalgic. It's got that, like you mentioned before, the Diablo-esque graphics and kind of feel to it, like OG Diablo. And it's just a really good time, and the gameplay is a lot of fun. Now, story-wise, we'll get over to that. It is a roguelike, so not a whole lot, but it does have a lot of character here. It's built out this world of you going to these underworld kind of places, these characters, which that do have some, what do you call it? Voice acting. The Weller man, I think, or the Well man, I forget what his name is. His voice acting was pretty funny. And we'll talk about that in the sound, though. But yeah, see, it builds this world, and it makes you really kind of interested about these different enemies and different bosses that you're playing. It's not a mindless like Survivors like at all. Like I don't want to like dunk on other Survivors like. So that's not what I'm trying to do here, but this improves on them in almost every way. Which is great, because you need the other ones to kind of show people the way of like kind of trying how to do something like this. So I found that the world was built perfectly. It made me invested in playing more, and I enjoyed the whole aesthetic and the character design, all this stuff that makes me think like, oh wow, like I feel like I'm playing Diablo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, because I played a little bit of Diablo too, so like it definitely brought me back to that. I never played the first Diablo, but this has that nostalgia factor, and even like it reminds me of some like Game Boy Advance games I played, to be honest, which is pretty sweet as well. So I don't know, huge fan of everything going on with like the world it's built as well.
Same here, kind of tying back to like what I mentioned about like the books you can find, and like they each have kind of these different riddles, and they use like the environment, the world to do that story building. Like it's just such a great job. And honestly, just something, again, I'm like surprised with, with a game like this, being how much it costs, and I'm just going to keep bringing up the cost here, because I just, I paid more for other Survivors likes, and I'm getting more out of this one. So I just can't overstate kind of the value there for this game. But yeah, the story, it's not going to give you, specific cutscenes or like anything like super in-depth story-wise, but there's definitely a vibe and a feel for the world. And it just makes you want to explore more. And I think that's like the job of the story in this game, where you're just like, what is that enemy? Or like, what happens if I, go pick up this specific item? Like, what will happen from like a story standpoint, right? And I actually haven't gotten to the boss yet, though, in either level. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, as like something that's kind of tied to that. But, from what I've seen with the bosses, when I looked up some stuff, they also like add to the whole story, right, of why you're kind of doing these sort of things. So, just, it's not if you're looking for a story Survivor like, this is not a game for you. I don't know if any of those Survivors likes. Maybe Deep Rock Galactic Survivor has the most story elements, because there's like more dialogue in that one. But it still just does a great job, not taking anything away from it. The world building is just really solid with this one. And then obviously another great strong point for the game is the art.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned Diablo 2. It's definitely got those Diablo 2 retro vibes. And personally for me, like real quick, just about the art, I love the way the game looks, where it has the left sidebar and the right sidebar, and it kind of gives you this like 4:3 aspect ratio. Like back in the day, it's like that automatically makes it retro, even if the graphics weren't that retro looking. That ratio right there just makes me think of like old school gaming, and then obviously just the art layered on top of it, and then even give you settings to kind of tweak the art a little bit, where a lot of the text in the game is kind of that pixelated art. And for me, just while I'm playing a game like this, I like to have it be a little bit more clear. So there's a setting in there where you can just make the text in the game, only the text, just show clearly instead of being like pixelated. So that was a cool setting for me. But just the art overall with the game, very Diablo-esque, old school Diablo. It just looks amazing. The enemy design, the effects of your abilities, just the world itself, everything that you find in the world, even like the items that you get look really cool. The heroes or the characters, they each have their own personality with how they look, and it just makes sense. Like the exterminator guy that shoots fire, he's like this big dude in like a big metal suit. Like it just makes sense from an art standpoint. I think they just knocked it out of the park with this one. If the gameplay wasn't here with this game, if it wasn't really that great, like the art would easily be number one for me. Gameplay is still going to be number one, but art is like right behind it. I love the way this game looks.
Yeah, it's just so sick. Honestly, it really is, and it just feels so nostalgic yet refreshing at the same time. I play a lot of RuneScape, old school RuneScape, and like it has those vibes as well.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, obviously not the same kind of gameplay, but even like when it would go to a dialogue text or a dialogue point of the game, you'd see the face of the person. It looked exactly like a RuneScape face. Honestly,
Yeah.
It really did, and I don't know. It just looks cool. I mean, I haven't gotten to a point in the game where my whole screen is going crazy like you see in some Survivors likes. And I know that can happen, but from what I could tell, everything looks pretty sweet. And we talked on Saturday, and you mentioned you can change the text to be more legible. And something I was talking about, because I like aiming, right? Like aiming with my cursor, but like sometimes we get lost. And then I saw in the settings that you can change the shape, like you can shape the icon of your cursor and the color. So I changed it from like a target box that was like bright yellow. So like, okay, that was going to be my only qualm. Is like I can't really see where my cursor's pointing when things get a little crazy. And then I was like, it's immediately fixed. So, yeah, I don't know. This is a really, really good looking game, and honestly, I mean, I'm interested to see how it's going to play on mobile when it comes out. I'll likely get it, but it does make me really want to get a Steam Deck. So badly. Yep. Like it seems like the perfect Steam Deck game, but yeah, and I think it is approved on Steam Deck. So huge fan of everything going on here. Now, what else do we have? Sound music. Great sound effects. Just like this really cool dungeon-esque, like these kind of drums playing in the background. You feel like you can hear like the drip of the caves, and you're just like, you feel like you're in it. And then just a lot of, at least in the first level, a lot of bones clanking, like the skeletons every time you kill them. He's got that nice little ASMR skeleton kind of thing going on. And you're just like, you're doing that for like 30 minutes. And then, when you're blocking, there's no like input for blocking. You kind of had like level up your blocking. So like you hear basically a little shield get clanged as well and stuff like that. So it sounds great. The music's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think people are gonna guess what we're gonna rate this game, but yeah, everything was cooking here. What'd you feel about the sound?
Yeah, it's cooking. No, definitely. I loved using the exterminator, the flamethrower guy, on the first level where there's a lot of skeletons, because you just get that exactly what you said, like that ASMR of all those bones falling down, like whatever. I was just having so much fun just using that guy on the first level, just for the sounds alone. But yeah, everything sounds great. Collecting the coins, everything's got these nostalgic vibes, and actually the music. I was Maria was next to me when I was playing one of my runs, and she was reading like this fantasy book, and I had like the sound playing through my speakers, and she was like, "Oh man, this music is perfect for what I'm reading right now." There's like a big battle going on. I was like, "Oh, perfect!" Like it was even people that don't even know what this game's about or liking the soundtrack, liking the music. It's just really well done overall, and it's everything, even just like buying things, right? Like you go to the Wellerman, you buy something, spending your coins to level up your character, like these little tiny sound effects really just add to the whole experience, and they're just super well done. And no more to say really about the sound. They did a great job.
Yeah, and it performed well for me. I mean, just playing on Steam is the only option right now, but hoping to get more options in the future. Also, notably, this was in early access for I think a year before it hit 1.0. So yeah, did you have any issues?
Yeah, no issues for me. In terms of performance, I did have a few notes. These aren't really like related to performance per se, but things I would like to see them add, or at least maybe change a little bit. So first off, I wish that there was a way to pause your run and continue your run at a certain point. Like Balatro, a lot of games, kind of have that. Just for me, where I'd just be like, all right, I got to pause this. I got to go do something else. It'd be great to just be able to exit out and just like resume a run. Not sure if that's planned. It's not a big deal, but just something that like I think is a quality of life update for a game like this. And then also, I can't tell you how many times I accidentally refunded all for my.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's a button when you go to like upgrade your stats. In the bottom right, there's a button that just says refund all. So I would go and add my stats, and then just like I would just think that was like the save button, like just like without thinking, and I would just refund everything I just did. And I'm like, oh my god, like stop doing that. So I just had to like learn that a little bit. I honestly just like put the refund all button over on the left side, and I will not do that. But maybe that's just me. I'm probably just a doofus, but I just like feel like maybe other people are having that issue. And then just another small thing, again, none of these are performance related. The game ran great. I did not realize you had to purchase the well items at first. So I'd send up a well item, and then when you're back at the lobby area, you can click on the well, or you can click on the Wellerman. So I would click on the well, and I was like, man, maybe I didn't send that up right. Maybe I didn't send that item up right. And then I realized that there was some text that it said that like you have to buy it from the Wellerman. So I would click on him, and then I was able to purchase it. So maybe if there was just like, maybe I missed it, but maybe if there was just a little bit of like, hey, you got your first item, like click on the Wellerman to purchase it. Something like that would, I think, be good to have. But honestly, these are like super small things. They don't affect the game in really any major way at all. I still really enjoyed it, but just want to point those things out in case the devs decide to listen. I think those would be some good updates.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'm sure they worked on this a long time. I'm sure they're going to continue to, which is pretty exciting. Now, let's get to our final rating. Our ratings are as follows: Certified Fresh Juice. These are our Balatros of the world. It's our top tier. Steel. These are our Pepper Grinders of the world. Good games, not perfect, but good. B tiers get on sale. A lot of games fall into this. Could use some help, or hopefully will be better in a future update. And then we have Manager Special. These are games that are either like not the worst thing we've ever played, or it just isn't really for us. Maybe like a very specific kind of group of people might like it, but it's just not for us. And then Spoiled Milk is a game that nobody really likes. So I'll just say it.
Kick it off.
Certified Fresh Juice for Halls of Torment. Really enjoyed this game. Going to continue to enjoy this game. It is perfect bite-sized amount of gameplay for somebody like me. I'll hop on Halls of Torment. I'm going to do 30 minutes, right? I'll do one run. Hopefully I'll beat it. I'll do one run. I'll complete some quests. I'll target some quests, because you can do that. You can choose which one you want to kind of highlight. And then hopefully I'll just like continue to hopefully 100% the game, right? This is the kind of game that you're going to want to. You're going to unlock everything. So this is a pretty easy Certified Fresh Juice. Been enjoying the hell out of it. Going to continue to enjoy the hell out of it.
I'm right there with you. Certified Fresh Juice from me as well. I mean, the game just surprised the hell out of me. We picked it up for $3 too. I think it was on sale. Unfortunately, I think when this episode comes out, the sale ends like the day before.
Yeah.
But still, it's only a $5 game. Absolutely, just fantastic job with this one. I think it's like overwhelmingly positive on Steam too. Yeah. Last time I checked, so it seems like everybody else is feeling the same way. And honestly, would love to see, now that I played some Spell Brigade, would love to see maybe a co-op option, maybe Halls of Torment 2 down the line. I don't know if they'd be able to do that with the first one, but that would make it even more Diablo-esque, right? Where it's a little bit more of kind of a co-op experience. But just really love the game. I'm planning to play a lot more of it. Once it hits mobile, I mean, it's game Balatro and or Balatro, whatever, and Halls of Torment going to be taking up most of my phone battery. So it's just a banger of a game.
Amen. Kicking off year 2 of the pod with a banger.
Yeah.
And next week we might be reviewing Kill Knight. So we'll see if we review that. And then we do have listener questions. You can submit these on the Fresh Juice Discord. And these are a great way to get our opinions on all the things that is important to us. K Moore asks, how have your gaming habits changed over the years?
I would say for me, probably a lot. I mean, a lot of us, but I find my playing sessions to be shorter now, which makes sense, right? We got other things going on, jobs, life outside of, the computer. Granted, I do still carve out some time to have some good gaming sessions, especially with like Once Human, a game I'm like pretty into. But that's why also games like Halls of Torment are perfect, right? You can be like, oh, I got 30 minutes, I'll do a run. So that's probably the biggest thing for me is just, I remember when Gears of War 3, like the beta came out, I played for like 14 hours the first day. Because I didn't, nothing else was going on, right? Yeah. Like just like me and the boys just playing. That's probably the biggest thing that has changed. Is just how I wouldn't say like, I guess overall I'm playing less games, but just like the play sessions are just shorter and maybe broken up throughout the day versus like being all together. That's probably the biggest habit change for me.
Yeah, I think I was never like a marathon gamer. I mean, it's a lot less couch gaming, right? Because it's just kind of moving out of that. I definitely mobile game a lot more than I ever did, and kind of like try to find something that I can just focus on. I think is the toughest thing for me, and that's kind of my like quest in gaming right now. Like, try to find something that's going to really keep my attention for a short amount of time, because I'm the same as you. It's, we're older. We don't have as much time. But, that's why Halls of Torment was like kind of perfect. It was like, oh, I can just really focus in on this for 30 minutes and then I'm good to go. Now, next question comes from Capolo. Since I'm in Montreal, say hi to all the Montrealians, I just had poutine. What are your favorite poutine toppings?
Well, this is tough for me because I've only had poutine like a handful of times, and it's always been the same kind of
Just
toppings,
mm-hmm.
really. So if I had to like expand this to like loaded fries, maybe something like
Okay.
that. I guess I don't know. Um, I'm not a big bacon guy. I can deal with like bacon bits. I've had that on some loaded fries. That's all right. I guess always like a little scallion on there. That's fine. That's good. I don't really know. This is a tough. What about you, Tom? I haven't had poutine enough to know what. Like it's always been the same type of poutine.
I love poutine. It's
Okay.
like if I am going to like if I'm working and I have an event at a bar or something like that and they have a poutine on the menu, I'm most likely ordering that because I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, this is going to pad my stomach for the alcohol I'm about to consume and it's going to be delicious. Um I've had some pretty, wild ones like with pork belly and stuff like that, which is pretty good. And there is one that I had with that was kind of like a Korean take on it. So I had like
Hmm.
kimchi, like a fried egg on top. That was really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Big into that. Like I don't know. I am a huge just classic cheese curds and gravy, a poutine lover. I mean,
Yeah.
you give that to me, I'm gonna be happy. But
Yeah.
yeah, nothing like too crazy, but the kimchi one was really, really good with the fried egg on
Yeah.
top. Is also pretty fire as well.
Yeah. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. And actually, come to think of it, I think I've had a buffalo chicken poutine at
Oh,
PAX,
oh
actually.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that one was good. It was fine. But, you know, yeah,
That
I'm
was
good with
a
like the classic.
like a food truck one, right?
Yeah. It was a food truck one,
Mm-hmm.
probably not super authentic or anything like that. But
We got to
still
plan out
good.
our food for PAX East this year, right? I
Yeah.
feel like we're always like not even like at the convention, like after, because I feel like we're like we leave and we're like, all right, let's figure out something to go to.
Yeah.
We should just be
Yeah.
like, look at all these restaurants. Like, all right, these are the Boston restaurants we want to hit. So
Yeah. Hey, if any juice heads out there know any good Boston spots, let
let
us
us
know.
know.
All right. We'll be there in May.
Boston Market.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the last question comes from Arcarp, who asks, "What's your favorite sea creature?"
My favorite sea creature. Um, I honestly, I mean, I like sea turtles. Sea turtles are cool. Is that a creature? Yeah, it's a creature. Um, Sea turtles are cool. I also like anglerfish. Have always been
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool to me.
with the things.
Yeah, with the thing and the big
Mm-hmm.
teeth scaring the hell out of me. Um, I guess I'll go with those two. But I mean, I got a pet turtle, so I always like seeing the sea turtles, especially the little ones that are on the beach, trying not to get picked off by a bird. Just running for their lives. So yeah,
Uh,
probably those.
if you ever see sea turtles, like baby ones being hatched, they want to go to the water. So make sure to shine your flashlight for them
Oh, okay, all right,
to
yeah,
show them
yeah,
which way to go.
yeah, okay, yeah. Come here, come in my trunk.
I'm kidding, of course. Mine's octopus or cephalopods in general. I mean, I have a tattoo of one.
Yeah.
Um, I love how intelligent they are and the cool things that they can do. So like cuttlefish, octopus, squid, all that is
Mhm.
really cool to me. They're technically mollusks, if you could
Oh.
believe it. But if you ever want to watch, and this is kind of like bleeding into Rec Room here, but if you ever want to watch a cool documentary, My Octopus Teacher on Netflix, it's a
Oh.
banger.
All right.
It had me crying
Yeah.
like a little boy, which is all good. So check that out. Now, thanks for the question, R Carp.
Also, sorry, we got one more question that I just
Oh,
realized. What is our favorite game of September, Tommy?
oh,
You know?
Scheisse.
And so our games here, I'm looking at our YouTube publishing schedule. We got Crypt Custodian, Dungeon Divers, Wild Bastards, and I guess technically, would it be? No, it wouldn't be. Um,
Not
Halls of Torment, because that would be published first week of October. So yeah, it's either going to be Wild Bastards, Dungeon Divers, or Crypt Custodian, because we did the 1 year anniversary. So that, I guess a Spell Brigade maybe in there, but we didn't really like review that one. So what are you thinking?
I gotta go Crypt Custodian. I like that game. There was no like bangers this month, but there were like a bunch of like good games.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to go Crypt Custodian. Dungeon Divers is like a close second. If it had a little bit more to it, probably would have went with that. But yeah, I'm going to go Crypt Custodian as well. And just to recap for the listeners, our year-to-date best games. We've agreed on every one for the months so far. So we got Norp Apolog, we got Balatro, we got Boar Blasters, Pepper Grinder, Animal Well, Haunty, Ember Ward, Preserve, and then Crypt Custodian. So it's been a banger year. All those games coming out for indies. Yeah.
And October's off to a good start, so we'll see you know, how it goes. But let's get to the rec room, though. We got to recommend something. I'm going to recommend a song, a new single by Bon Iver. If you ever listen to Bon Iver, known for Skinny Love, Perth, Holocene, a lot of good songs from like the turn of the decade, like 2010 at like times.
Yeah.
But Bon Iver just put out a new single called Speyside, Speyside, and it is a return to form. It feels very autumnal, sad autumn music. You know, you're just like, oh, it's so mellow, and you're just like, hits those falsettos, and you're just like, oh man, I hate myself, and I love this. But it is a good song. Check it out.
Yeah, I've seen people on TikTok being like, "Oh boy, like depression, you know, just in time for my fall depression to kick in." But yeah, no, it sounded good for sure. And then my rec room, as I alluded to earlier, it's Balatro, mobile. Go play it. I mean, I know the juice heads, you know, they're already on top of it, but if anyone out there, Bags, hasn't played it, Bags, you should go play it because it is awesome and it could potentially be game of the year, as we discovered live on the show today.
And you're going to feel like a knucklehead. Oh, I should have played it before it was game of the year. I don't have to buy the game of the year edition.
Yeah, for twice as much.
But yeah, that's going to do it. You can continue to find me on Twitter at FreshBudsPod. I have another podcast called Fresh and Buds where I talk to people from the Flesh and Blood community, which is a indie card game, physical card game. And then you can continue to find us on at Fresh Juice Pod on all socials. Where can people find you, Matty Juice?
Find me at Matty Gorm, Gorm, on all the socials and stuff. Been posting on YouTube. Trying to do at least a stream a week on Twitch, if I can. It's been so busy lately. I haven't really had time to do it, but trying to do that. And yeah, hopefully if you see me live, you pop in and say what's up.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello. Goodbye.